I've just reread certain passages of this book by Sally Rooney. It's called Beautiful World, Where Are You? It's my second book by this author. I am in love with her style, with the themes that she explores. More to do in a second, and also with the language. I mean, she is an Irish author, but she writes books in English because I can't read or speak Gaelic. So yeah, you know, for example, in Normal People, that was published in 2018, I managed to learn and also to solidify, hopefully, 2 beautiful adjectives which are excruciating and exhilarating. Being an English learner, even though I've been learning this language for many years now, I try to also level up my language every single time I read a book, right? So I bookmark certain passages, I take notes, and then I share my findings with you guys, and I try to implement those new words into my daily life. And so those 2 adjectives have stuck with me. Anyway, let's then get into today's video. Hello everybody. So I'm trying to place the camera so that you can see me all right and the light is all right. So it's a new book, it's a new year, it's a new angle, because if I'm honest, that 30-part series, How to Learn German in 30 Days, same spot, I just got bored, you know, and so did you, perhaps. Anyway, let's try this out. So I am going to, talk about Sally Rooney's book, A Beautiful World, Where Are You? Published in 2021. I took some notes, not many this time. Probably it's got something to do with the fact that I am improving my English, but anyway, I am a grammar nerd, freak, call it whatever you want to call it, but when a certain construction, a certain sentence like catches my eye and I want it to penetrate my consciousness, penetrate my mind, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to write it down. Don't you worry, okay? So yeah, anyway, we have like certain sections. For example, I am going to talk about the plot a bit, right? So the what in a novel, then the characters and the language, the most important part, obviously, because, well, not only do I find joy in reading English books or books in English, my first foreign language, I incredibly love spotting and identifying interesting structures in my eyes, or for example certain grammar phenomena that I've been struggling with, right? So I don't know, be it present participle clauses or non-defining relative clauses, okay? And then I just spend some time thinking about, okay, why is this one defining or non-defining, okay? So yeah, just like doing it. So let's start with, I don't know what's going on, but I keep dropping things today. With the characters. So we have 2 main characters, Alice and Eileen, and also their partners. So on the whole we end up having 4 characters, I guess, but like in more detail we I think learn about Alice and Eileen, and obviously we learn a lot about their partners. So Alice meets Felix and Eileen spends some quality time with her childhood friend Simon, and I'm not giving away too much, trust me, because if you read the blurb, it already contains a lot of information. For example, a nice detail that Eileen is getting over a breakup with Aidnan, I think is his name, and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man she has known since childhood. So trust me, it's spoiler free, more or less. Yeah. So Alice is, what does she do for a living? She is a novelist. She's a successful novelist, and it's questionable whether or not it's autobiographical in some way, because Sally Rooney, so the author of the book, she is a successful young writer, and she's published 3 novels so far, if I'm not mistaken. So Conversations with Friends, Normal People, and Beautiful World, Where Are You? She's had a mental breakdown, and now she lives in a small seaside town, like a coastal town. And her friend Eileen, she rents a room like in a shared house or in a shared flat, and she works as an editor in a literary magazine, and lives in Dublin. So we've got this contrast city, like urban, and like village, little town. Yeah. Yeah, and there is also a quote on page 1300, what am I talking about, 317, time to wake up, where she's referred to as a psychiatric case. And so we've got this theme, right, that is nowadays very important and topical, and has always been, but it used to be like a taboo topic, which is mental health. Okay. Right. What do we know about Eileen? Well, I think I've said it already. Both, like Eileen and Alice, they like having deep conversations, but they never get to see one another during this novel, apart from the last couple pages, where they actually have a dinner together and spend a couple of times together, the 4 of them. Apart from that, how they communicate, they have a correspondence via email, so they write to one another emails, where they engage in deep thinking and have these lofty and elevated conversations about what have I jotted down, the beauty, the aesthetic, the marriage, the fertility, the religion. Okay. And this is interesting in terms of how the novel is constructed, because it is narrated by a third-person narrator. Okay, so but where we've got this correspondence, it is narrated in the form of the first-person narrator, which is very interesting, like a nice contrast. Yeah, so Felix, who is seeing Alice, or Alice is seeing Felix, they are seeing one another, I would characterize him as being incredibly impulsive. He's the one who speaks his mind, so like whatever comes to mind, he just says it. He hates his job in a warehouse, but he's being reactive and does not anything to better his situation. Yeah. What about Simon? Simon, he's an intelligent young man. He's older than Eileen, I think 6 years older. Alice and Eileen, they are in their late 20s, and I think by the end of the novel they are in their 30s, so they've reached their 30s, yeah. Right, what else do I have? Yeah, so Simon, he's quite deep, he's religious, he's Catholic, he goes to church, he's had several partners, right, and he's had this on and off relationship with Eileen. Okay, so to put it mildly, he's had sexual intercourse with her. or she has initiated, like she did initiate their intercourse, and he did not prevent it, right? Yeah, this is like, to me, he's a little bit too soft of a guy for my taste. Also, in terms of intertextuality, a couple of Russian writers are mentioned here. For example, Eileen, when she is going to work, like she goes to work by bus. I think she is reading Dostoevsky, The Brothers Karamazov, or the Karamazov brothers. And she finishes this book, I think, in the middle of the book, or towards the end of the book. Then Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina is mentioned because there is a character, Levin. He owns a farm, he owns peasants, and he likes working together with them on his fields. It like fills his soul with joy. And so Simon reads this novel, and he likes Levin, and so he ends up having a job on Eileen's parents' farm. I just thought it was so interesting. Yeah, and so in terms of themes, we've got Marxism, communism, socialism. So these are brought up a couple of times in the novel. Also the working class. And there is a contrast, like who is a working class person. So it's about the background, or it's about their wages, like how much do you earn a month. It's a very contemporary novel, very authentic. It's about ordinary people. The characters are flaws. They have flaws, or they are flawed, right? Passive. Not passive, but what do you call it? They are flawed. So as an adjective. Oh, I've been out of practice. Can you notice? Can you tell? Like I haven't made videos for the last 2 months, I think. It's been a long break, but to my defense, guys, I had the flu, and so it like, you know, knocked me out, and I also lost my voice, and it was not pleasant listening to my voice. So anyway, what else do we have? Attention to detail on the part of the narrator, or like the author, and I like really it's a joyful experience reading Sally Rooney's books to me. Sometimes those emails are quite prolonged, quite longish, and I think they prevent you from binge reading this book in a way, because they become like really lofty, and you try to understand what it's about, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but perhaps it's my experience, because English is a foreign language for me. Right, I think we can now turn to my favorite part when reading a book in English, the language. So the words normal and ordinary are used quite frequently. So normal backgrounds, ordinary life.